Hello guys and welcome to Hideout Helm in under 12 minutes. Now, you may remember last year I did a video also titled Hideout Helm in under 12 minutes, but that was on Emulator, and Emulator's a band and I got a bit flack for it. So to make sure that I was happy with myself with that video and that nightmare of a situation which occurred with that has been sorted, I decided on the 22nd of January 2016 to try and attempt to at least get Hideout Helm in under 12 minutes on console. So here is my attempt, and to make a difference from last year, I'll be commentating this run as well. So the time starts as soon as the music and the visuals from that level start. And here's the big difference from my run last year, is that last year I didn't know you could slope glitch up that thing with Tiny. I thought, oh, you have to do it with Lanky and you have to use a rank stand, but no, using Tiny saves some time because you start off with Tiny, and also Tiny is faster than Lanky to my knowledge. I've also started off the level with 50 homing ammo, and that's because homing ammo pretty much comes in handy for a lot of places, like the pineapple switch just there. Also, you may notice that the split times, or the split names, are a bit odd. Those are the exact splits I had for my emulator in terms of the names. With this bit here, the enemies can be a bit trolley with their location. Sometimes their placement can be bad and they can knock you off and they can lose you around about 2 to 3 seconds depending on their location and what you have to do to avoid them and if you get hit. This is the next bit. There is technically a way to get through that quicker by glitching into the pipe as larger Tiny, but I don't know how to do that trick, so I'm just going to leave that be. That would probably save around about, what, 5-10 seconds. And now we're going to spawn the stars. Now, the stars are a bit harder to do on console. On emulator, the rocket barrel is very, very easy to control. When I was creating the thumbnail and I had to redo Hideout Helm again, the difference between console and emulator for rocket barrel is really noticeable, and so getting used to using the rocket barrel on console for this was pretty difficult. I got a lot of runs where I lost about 20 seconds to rocket barrel, but this rocket barrel seems to be going fairly well. There's not a lot of time that I'm losing right here. Actually no, I gained time. I gained 0.6 seconds. Now, even though I'm trying to beat Hideout Helm in 12 minutes and also I'm aiming to beat my emulator time, I'm not really running against the emulator, I'm running against my sum of best. Now, the sum of best at this present time is 11 minutes and 33 seconds. If that sum of best, or the best possible time, which is the second to bottom thing, if that sum of that time goes above 12 minutes, that practically means run over, because I cannot get that time. I can improve my best possible time if I get another gold, which is a faster split, but that is, in a lot of cases, you don't want to rely on that, and so that is really the aim, to keep that best possible time as low as possible. Now, Chunky's removed the gates. I didn't remove the Chunky gate because it's quicker if you remove the Chunky gate when Chunky actually goes to defeat his section. With the instrument pads, they can, yes again, be a little bit trolley, or trolley, whatever. They can mess you up a little bit because you can be on the pad and play the instrument, but it won't count as actually playing the instrument as opening the door, so it can be a bit weird. This game is the hardest, I would say, especially to start off with, because the timing is pretty tight-knit, I would say, and trying to get that down is kind of hard, and if you miss one bit, you can do another attempt at it, but that loses you a bunch of time, especially if you miss the last hit right over there. This next one, I would say, aside from, at the moment, this is possibly my worst execution of this mini game that has succeeded. There were so many Kremlings I lost. I think I must have lost around about what 3-4 seconds to this, maybe even more. Really, I should have done better, but in the end, I did get it with pretty much 1 second remaining. So really tighten it, that game, if you aren't too good at it. So now we've shut off DK's power conduit. Some people call it conduits, I personally call it like a power line. And we are now on to Chunky. Now, at the moment, we are doing relatively well in terms of time. However, that's going to now go down because of the DK phase that happened was not optimal, and especially compared to my emulator run. And there's also a lot of places where you cannot physically beat an it's very difficult to beat my emulator run. Not because my emulator run was really good, but because times it can be faster, especially during the cutscenes, because cutscenes don't really have that long, like they go really quickly because of not a lot of lag. With this bit here, this is pure random chance what I get. Hopefully it is in the first box I pick. It wasn't. It is in the second box though, and also I shall note, do not hit the pylons. I have lost a few attempts at this minigame due to me accidentally hitting the pylon, and I didn't realise that actually hitting the pylon was a game over in terms of minigames. And now on to the next one. Luckily this one isn't so much random numbers and like luck, but it is a little bit of luck on where the Kremlings go. Also, the thing is with that one is you must think, oh, go all hell for leather, but because you max out at 4 pineapple shots, if you go all hell for leather, you're only going to be targeting 1 Kremling, so it's going to take really long. So, however, if you do like a shot, then move your reticle and then shoot again, you're going to get potentially 4 hits within the space that you would have normally gotten 1. So now with Chunky gone, we're going to go to Tiny. I can't remember if I think we lose a little bit of time here. Yeah, we do lose time, mainly because of the RNG we got with the box. But we're now on to Tiny's phase. Tiny's phase is really simple and but can be a little bit iffy in the wrong times. Like it's weird like that sometimes. The first one is our pony's held twirl the furthest, and so it's go through all the stars. This one the last shot can be a bit weird at times, but it's a very simple game. I've only failed it like once or twice, and that was literally when I was just too tired to actually run this. I will say as well, I can't remember what the final game time was, but I must have spent around about 7-8 hours trying to get this down, because I was just so annoyed with my emulator run and how, like, it wasn't seen as legitimate in my eyes, and I think in a lot of people's eyes. So I wanted to do a console execution because I was just unhappy with it. The second minute game is actually really simple as well. It can, if you don't put your camera behind you, it can be a bit odd because of the camera, but my advice for that is take your time a little bit to adjust your camera to behind you so you can actually see where the star is, and like it's really simple that way. However, if you have it as a diagonal angle, you have to move your control stick in a weird way, and a lot of the times you might miss it. Now we move on to the worst Kong in the game, Lanky. However, he actually has possibly one of the best sections. There's no real RNG segments, and it's also a really simple segment if you know what you're doing. So this first bit is an orangutan sprint section. I will say for pretty much every Kong you need their gun, their instrument and their biggest move. The exceptions which come to mind are Chunky's Gorilla Gone and Diddy's Simian Spring. aside from that, you pretty much need everyone's biggest move to either complete Helm or to get to Helm in the case of Tiny where you need Monkey Paw. So Lanky's first game is really simple, his second game is really simple if you know what you're doing, and this is the big thing which I saved a lot of time on. Rather than going like all hell for leather in many directions, try to target your shots, all 4 shots, to one Mecha Zinger, and you should get it done really quickly. And yet again, homing ammo makes that really simple because they auto-target a Mecha Zinger. And now we have one section left, and we've still got plenty of time. We are really in the game. This is probably my biggest chance since I started running this of actually getting under 12 minutes, because we have, what, 1 minute and 40 seconds left to do it. However, it doesn't exactly go to plan this end, and you'll see that it gets actually really close, and I'll get into that in a second. So we're entering the final stage here. I will also note an interesting glitch, but not a helpful one. If you leave this area on the US version, the banana medals actually go transparent and you cannot pick them up. This is an RNG segment, and it is possibly one of the most annoying ones. It is just basically shoot the right Kremling, but that Kremling changes every single time. And also the timing is also really late when you hear the little ting sound from when you actually shoot it. So it's a bit iffy, that game, and that is possibly my 3rd to worst game in the entire 10 game batch. And here is where it all goes wrong. We have now 30 seconds really to complete this, and the way that, thank you to Connor75 for this, but the way that you're meant to do this is by holding Z to maintain your height. And I do that, but the switches can be a bit iffy to shoot. And so I actually missed that one because I thought I hit it and I didn't. And so now, with 6 seconds remaining, 5, 4, we're going to have to hit this switch. Now, you need to usually run about 10 seconds after hitting the switch in order to get a Blast-O-Matic shut down in time. And we did it just in time with an 11-minute 59:18, which is really good. But it can be improved, and as I said, I'm not claiming this is world record or anything, but it can be improved. I reckon that, like people have done, like with these arbitrary rules I've created, they have done 11-minute 11s, so it is possible to get considerably quicker, but we'll see. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. I've been Balam, this is the end credits. Signing out. All that's left is a window to my soul. Come and get it.